Common Sense Development and Artistic Communications webinar series. This is the first webinar that we're doing in this series, and the title is Money Making Opportunities. And what we want to do is spend some time sharing with you today how to maximize your profits by knowing where your money is being made and how to spend your time wisely making it. My name is Mark, and I'm the owner of Common Sense Development. Common Sense Development is a small business marketing and consulting firm. We do everything from website development and branding to executive coaching and employee development. I also have with me Letitia with Artistic Communications. Hey Letitia, how's it going?
Hi Mark. Hi everybody. Yes, this is Letitia with Artistic Communications. I'm a boutique public relations firm. I've been in the field of PR for approximately 9 years now. 4 of that was with a local firm down in California, and the last 5 have been through Artistic Communications. Welcome.
Wonderful. Well, let's go ahead and get started right away. We've got a lot to cover today, and one of the things that we're going to try to do with these is make them as short as possible while still giving you guys the value. We know that your time is valuable, and we want to make sure that you get the most out of this. So again, thank you for joining us. So we want to start here by talking about the #1 reason that small businesses fail. And I've been a business consultant, and I've been in the franchise industry, and I have about 10 years of experience helping small business owners. And the biggest issue that I see for businesses failing is that they go into business believing that their job is to save money. They treat this saving money aspect of their business as their #1 priority. And the problem is that you're not in the business of saving money, right? You're in the business of making money. We've all heard the saying that it takes money to make money. And honestly, this is very true, but we forget it. We get scared and want to focus too much on running away from bills rather than using them to maximize our business. Did you have anything to add to this?
Yeah, I wanted to just reiterate the importance of hiring outside help. I know as small business owners, we have a tendency to be a little nervous when hiring people because this is our baby. You want your business to grow, you want to take care of it and nurture it, but a lot of times you end up neglecting the most important parts because you are stretched so thin trying to juggle everything. And it doesn't even have to be hiring an employee per se. It can be a simple thing as hiring temp services, and they have plenty of resources from basic billing. If you want somebody to come in once a week just to handle your weekly end of the week tasks, or even if you want somebody just to handle your books. As long as you maintain your receipts and keep everything in order, then when it comes time to working with your bookkeeper, it's a lot easier, and it's a lot easier on the pocketbook because you've done a bulk of the work. They just got to maintain it and make sure everything is correct when it comes to putting your books together especially for tax season.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, so of course everybody wants to keep their business open, and most small business owners want to know the best ways to do that. And Letitia, you've had a lot of experience. You've been a business owner yourself for a while, and I think that the best way to keep your business open is to really ask yourself these 3 questions. And if you don't mind, I'd like to just ask them to you. And so let's start with this first one. In your own experience, what makes you money?
First and foremost, for me in my business, it would be my clients. The more work my clients have for me, obviously, the more income I will generate to, pay for whether it's networking events or training seminars or just tools that are going to make me a better PR practitioner to benefit current as well as future clients.
Wonderful. So what would you say distracts you from your money-making tasks?
Well, here I'm going to touch on a couple of areas that I don't think you hear a lot of. People, usually will talk about general business distractions, but I'm honestly going to say sometimes I think family does play a part in the distraction. Wanting to spend time with my husband, wanting to hang out with my son and play Xbox, for Pete's sake. Even my dogs, because I work out of my home, and, I can't leave the dogs outside all the time. So sometimes just hearing their little whimpers, even sometimes that can be a distraction and pull me away from doing the work that I need to, and I have to force myself back and find ways to regroup and refocus to, again, work on the client projects that are going to generate the revenue for me.
Sure. So what do you think would happen if you spent more time on your money-making tasks and tried to eliminate some of those distractions?
Well, this has been a constant battle for working, adults, I'm going to say. For those of us who do have the family, it's how do we balance that, family life as well as working life. And I think you really have to figure out where your priorities are. And for me, it's knowing that the money that is coming in is going to provide a roof over my family's head. It's going to provide education for my children when they're ready to go to college. It's going to provide, clothes. I mean, I look at it as more, it's going to help pay for the necessities. It's not going to necessarily pay for the luxuries. The luxuries are the little bonus things that if I work harder, then I'll be able to take a week-long vacation somewhere. But I think if you figure out what your priorities are, and everyone's are going to be different. Not everyone's going to have the same priorities. So just because, person A has, I want to take a week-long Fiji vacation, that's their priority. But you have to look at their lifestyle. How have they, structured their situation, as opposed to someone like myself with, a family. I'm going to look at it more like, well, I want to be able to keep a nice roof over our head and, be able to pay for my children's education. So to me, those are my important priorities. Both priorities are important because those are those person's individual goals. Priorities you have to kind of look at as goals as well. But again, if I could refocus and readjust my attention from those distractions that I have, then I can definitely see myself being able to acquire more clientele to be able to generate more of the revenue that I'm seeking.
Sure. What I'd like to do is encourage all of the listeners to really take some time to answer these questions. They seem simple, but I found that, the basics is really what drives the business forward, and getting kind of back to these simple questions, write down your answers. What makes you money? What distracts you from those money-making tasks? And how different would your life be if you could spend more time making money? Spend 10, 15 minutes and just write those down for yourself. It will help you stay focused when the distractions come along. So every business owner, of course, wants to be the expert, right? That's why they got into business. That's probably why you got into business, because you are the expert at doing something, and you know that you can do it better than anybody else. Most likely, you believe that you are an expert in your field or industry. The thing that I see businesses doing, though, is then they quickly want to become an expert in every aspect of their business, and they end up stretching themselves too thin. And so what I've learned to do in my experience is to really leverage my expertise, and I actually do that by leveraging other people's expertise. So what I mean by that is that I'll use my time to do what I can do best. And those are, oddly enough, my money-making activities, right? My ability to design websites for people and help them create training programs for their employees. That's what I do best, and that's what I want to spend my time doing. So everything else I'm going to try to outsource if I can to other people. I have other people do my taxes. I have other people run my PR campaigns. That's actually artistic communications, takes care of that for me. That way I can focus on what makes me money and where I am the expert. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, you go, like you said, you definitely start at this because it is an area where you're the expert. If I decided to go into winemaking tomorrow, I don't honestly be very successful at it, only because I don't have the necessary background, skills, and knowledge to know how the grapes are supposed to look when they're ready to be picked, how long to ferment the wine. You know, you can ask me any questions about wine because I love to drink it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I need to build. So you want to make sure, you know, starting your business or getting into a field, you know, the expertise is there, and to a point, step back and evaluate, okay, am I spending too much time doing other things that maybe I need to hire other experts? You know, the biggest thing that, you know, business owners, I believe, waste a lot of time on is trying to keep their books and do their income taxes on their own. And when you get to a certain point, you really definitely need to let that go, because you can't take the time like a normal bookkeeper or tax person to look at the codes and know where you can or cannot do legitimate tax deductions, and will ultimately hurt yourself in the long run, because I believe small business owners are targeted a little heavily for audits through the IRS. Because they know that a lot of the business owners do it themselves, and they won't have the knowledge that a normal tax preparer will. And, you know, you'd want those experts to be able to support you, because that's what's going to ultimately help make you a success.
Sure, absolutely. So we've talked a little bit about distractions, and the problem with distractions is that they really can lead you down the wrong path. What I've had to learn over the years is that, you know, there's a lot of things happening all around me. Many of those things are just out of my control, and you can get bogged down by worry and stress if you're always focusing on those things that really ultimately you can't control, but you're running around chasing, trying to fix. So if you really want to get down to the core of success, you have to figure out what you can control, and those are the things that you need to focus on, because that's where your success can be built on. That's where your money-making opportunities really are, those things in life that you can control. In the long run, we will be a lot more successful when we learn to be experts in our business and ultimately delegate everything else. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more, but that's a tough one, because we get, I think you mentioned this, so attached to obviously our business. It's an emotional thing to own a business. We're passionate about it. We love it. And so to hand bits and pieces of those off can be daunting. But when we start focusing on what we're best at, on what we can control, and then using experts to help grow our business, the opportunities are really unlimited. So how do you delegate? Well, I like to ask 3 questions about what things I should delegate. The first question I ask is this an income-producing task? Because if it is, I should probably be doing it myself. I'm on the right track. Am I already an expert at this task? If the answer is yes, then, you know, by all means, keep doing it. You're the best at it. But then the third question is, are there more important tasks that I should be spending my time on? Are there things I'm better at, things that make me more money, things that I could pay a little bit of money out to and leverage somebody else's expertise to move my business forward? And these are questions I ask myself every time I start any sort of new project. And it's really helped, I think, set a strong foundation for me in figuring out how to leverage myself and, honestly, how to leverage other people. All right, so prioritize your time. We've got to figure out what makes you the most money, and this is where we should spend the most time. The funny thing is that most of us spend the least amount of time, right, on the things that make us money, while everybody else just kind of, all of the money-making tasks go second priority on the list. What are your thoughts? What have you learned on how to prioritize your time, Letitia?
Well, this has been something that I've struggled with for quite some time, and I think with the creation of the apps, you know, whether it's through Android, Apple, or now even Windows, there's plenty of tools out there to help you keep you on track. One of the things that I've used is Astrid Tasks, which allow me to sync everything across the board from my laptop, my tablet, and my cell phone. And there's other apps out there as well, and they also allow you to, some of them incorporate your tasks into your calendar. So I'm getting reminders all over the place that I need to get certain things done, which is great. Another thing maybe you want to look at is when, you know, how you're spending time. Are you looking at email too often? Are you playing a little bit too much on social media perhaps? And what I've done to allow myself, you know, time, you know, to try to structure my day as a normal work day and give myself the necessary breaks is I actually have a timer that I downloaded through my Google Chrome browser. And I'm able to set that up for 5, 10, 15 minutes, however long I feel I need to take my break. And I'll either walk away or do something else. And then when I hear that buzzer go off, I resume back to work. The biggest thing I think where people need to start, even though many of us fight it because we feel maybe it's too structured, but maybe it's printing a daily calendar. And myself, what I usually will do is print and then just kind of write in what I want to do for each hour. You know, for some clients, I maybe want to block 2 hours of time because I have to do research and I have to pitch media and then follow up with media. For others, maybe I need to spend 30 minutes, and so I will block out the necessary time throughout the day on my calendar and just continuously refer back to it to see where I need to be on that day. What I also do, and I picked up this trick down the road a couple of years ago, is on the top of the calendar I will put the top 5 items that I know I need to get done that day, that I need to accomplish. And I will make sure that I'm looking at that every so often to make sure that I by the end of the day, all 5 of those are crossed off.
Yeah, you know, scheduling out your time on a daily basis is extremely important. I use Google Calendar with reminders and have almost every hour throughout the day scheduled, including, you know, you had touched on the email. And that's one of the biggest distractions for me is every time the you've got mail button basically pops up, you know, I want to rush over and go read that email. But the problem is every time you lose focus on one task and then come back to it, you can lose up to a half hour just in trying to even refocus yourself back on what you were originally doing. So if every 10, 15 minutes you're jumping back over to your email, you're really losing a lot of productivity. And so one of the things I do is I have 3 times a day scheduled on my calendar that are allotted for checking email, and those are the only times that I check email. And obviously there's some exceptions when you're waiting for an important email to come through. You know, you want to stay on top of that. But as a general rule, you know, 3 times a day I spend half hour, 45 minutes checking and responding to emails, and the rest of the time I'm working on other things. So how do you use your resources wisely? We obviously all have a limited amount of time, money, and energy. And I really think it comes down to this. You use your time to make money, use your money to free up your time, and you use your energy to keep yourself on track. So the other thing that we often do is we tend to make business harder than it is, and we've got to stop doing that. And what I mean by this is we often see as consultants and coaches people wanting to really overanalyze their business, and they get in a perpetual planning mode. And the problem with this is it's almost a coping mechanism for the fear of actually moving forward. And so, you know, we take the time to figure out what we're supposed to do, and you should take a fair amount of time planning what you should do so that it does lead to success. But then we never take that third and final step, which is actually go out and do it. We just end up planning something new. And we're just always thinking about new and better ways to do things, but we're never actually doing anything. And I have literally seen businesses fail by getting into this mode. And they think that they're moving forward, and in fact, they're really just running on a treadmill. But I just wanted to open this up to you a little bit, Letitia, and see if you had anything to add to this slide.
Yeah, I mean, I just like you, Mark, I have seen businesses pop up and they do their typical, promotion piece initially to get things, going to make people aware that they're there, but then after that, you don't hear from them anymore, and that could happen for a number of reasons. The best, advice I have for people is there are a lot of us experts out there in the field of advertising, marketing, PR that can help you and offer advice on what you need to do to ensure that you're staying in front of your customer, your target demographic. Rule of thumb is don't think that you need to advertise once and then never again. You need to develop different ideas. You need to develop different types of plans to be able to keep your business growing. I saw a store, didn't even know what it was until I think I saw an advertisement in the paper from a chamber grand opening that they did, and then I finally figured out what they were. But I never saw anybody, not even someone hiring one of those sign dancers just to put a sign that says, "We're opening soon." I mean, simple things, but because you get so concerned with, consumed with trying to figure out everything that goes on with the business, a lot of times you are going to forget the little things. And so again, that's where really hiring an outside source is going to be beneficial to you in your business growth and success.
Absolutely. On the topic of marketing, it's really funny and somewhat sad for me when I hear small businesses say that, well, marketing doesn't work. Because the truth is marketing does work, but it's not magic. It has to be done with a plan. It has to be done with consistency, like you said. And oftentimes what you do see is people kind of taking a shotgun approach to marketing. And in fact, this is one of our upcoming seminars. We'll be talking a lot more about marketing, so look for that. But the gist of it is that you've got to have a plan before you market, and part of finding your money-making opportunities is finding your customers and your clients. And if you're not the expert at doing that, it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing to be able to ask for help and use some of the experts in the industry that have been doing this for years. And so don't be afraid of marketing, and don't be afraid of asking for help. As a small business owner, part of your job is to find other experts that can support and help you and allow you to focus on, well, your money-making opportunities. So that's our presentation for today. I want to thank you for joining us, and feel free to look for our next presentation coming out. Well, this is June 19th, and I think that's what we're going to shoot for, but we'll stay in touch with you as one of our subscribers here. And also, just as a side note here, we're offering all of our listeners a free 1-hour brainstorming session where you can sit down with both of us on the phone or over a cup of coffee and just talk to us about your business, and we can offer some advice and find some ways to help move you to the next level and forward. So anyways, again, thank you for listening, and have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.